The massive alien fleet emerged from the darkness of space, their ships sleek and predatory as they approached the blue planet. Admiral Tai observed the approaching vessels on the command center's main display. They'd crossed the outer system boundary, he reported calmly. President Kim nodded. Send the transmission. A simple message was broadcast toward the invading armada. Turn back. This is your only warning. Aboard the alien flagship, Supreme Commander Dole scoffed at the primitive communication. They think they can threaten us. A species that barely mastered space travel. His second-in-command, Captain June, displayed the human message for the bridge crew. Laughter rippled across the command deck. Prepare the first assault wave, Dole ordered. Let's show these creatures the price of defiance. Meanwhile, on Earth, Defense Director Han initiated the evacuation protocols. Within hours, civilians streamed into underground shelters, while military personnel took their positions at stations hidden from alien sensors. They're coming, Han reported, and they didn't heed our warning. The skies above Earth darkened as the alien fleet moved into position. Their ships formed a perfect attack formation, thousands of vessels blocking the stars like an artificial eclipse. In Seoul, 8-year-old Mina clutched her stuffed rabbit as her parents rushed her toward the nearest shelter entrance. The girl looked up one last time and saw strange lights in the sky. Mom, what are those? Her mother didn't answer, just pulled her along faster. Underground, the shelters were calm and organized. Years of drills had prepared the population for this day. Few panicked. Most simply followed instructions, bringing only essential items and helping the elderly and children. Admiral Ta stood before the military council in the Deep Mountain Command Center. Our early warning systems detected them 3 days ago. They've come with enough firepower to glass the planet. And yet you sent only a simple warning, General Park noted. Ta nodded. As planned, we needed to appear weak. On view screens around the room, they watched the alien fleet spread out, preparing for their first attack. The generals and admirals remained calm. They had prepared for this moment for decades. President Kim addressed the council. Operation Quiet Thunder is now active. All defensive systems are ready. Aboard his flagship, Dole reviewed the scans of Earth. Primitive defenses, a few orbital platforms, some ground-based weapons. Nothing that can harm our ships. Captain Jun pointed to energy readings. Sir, they do have nuclear capabilities. Outdated technology. Dole dismissed with a wave. Our shields will handle any nuclear weapons. Begin the attack. Target their major cities first. Jun sent the orders. Across the alien fleet, weapons charged, glowing with ominous energy. In the command center, Admiral Ta watched the enemy preparations. He opened a secure channel. Director Han, status of Phase 1. Han's voice came through clearly. 98% of civilians are secured. Military personnel are in position. And the special units. Ready to deploy on your mark. Ta nodded, though Han couldn't see it. Prepare the welcoming gift. Above them, the alien fleet launched their first attack wave. Hundreds of fighter craft descended toward Earth's atmosphere, weapons hot. No response from their defenses. Jun reported to Dole. They may be surrendering already. Dole smiled, showing pointed teeth. Wise, but too late. The attack continues. The fighter craft entered Earth's atmosphere, targeting the largest population centers. Their pilots were confident, almost bored. They expected no real resistance. In her underground shelter, Minna heard a strange sound, like a giant taking a deep breath. The adults looked at each other knowingly. The alien fighters reached 10,000 meters above Seoul when the sky itself seemed to ignite. Captain Jun stared at his screens in disbelief. Sir, we're losing contact with the first wave. Dole rushed to the main view screen. What's happening? The atmosphere around Earth had transformed into a swirling energy field. Alien fighters disintegrated upon contact. Impossible. Dole slammed his fist on the console. Their technology can't do this. In the command center, Admiral Tai allowed himself a small smile. Atmospheric defense grid activated. Phase 2 beginning now. Across Earth, hidden installations powered up. In the oceans, beneath mountains, disguised as ordinary buildings, weapon systems beyond anything the aliens thought possible came online. They lied to us, Jun whispered. This was a trap. Dole's eyes narrowed. Launch all fighters. Begin the main assault. But even as he gave the order, new alerts sounded across his ship. Hundreds of objects were rising from Earth, not missiles, but advanced combat drones and fighters that had been hidden from alien scans. Admiral Ta spoke to his officers. They ignored our warning. Now they'll understand exactly what that means. The alien assault ships entered Earth orbit, weapons charging for what they assumed would be a simple bombardment of primitive defenses. Begin the attack, Commander Dole ordered. The first volley of alien energy weapons streaked toward Earth. And then the impossible happened. Hidden defense platforms suddenly activated throughout the solar system. Beams of concentrated energy lanced through space, cutting through the alien ships like paper. What is happening? Dole demanded as alerts blared across his command ship. These weapons, they're far beyond human capability. On Earth, Colonel Sung watched the battle unfold from the underground command center. Activate the orbital grid, she ordered. Satellites that had appeared dormant for decades suddenly came to life, revealing themselves as components of an advanced defense network. From the lunar surface, massive cannons emerged from hidden bunkers, firing projectiles that manipulated gravity itself, crushing alien vessels from within. Impossible, Dole shouted as reports of devastating losses poured in. These humans, they've been hiding their technology. A transmission appeared on his screen. Colonel Sung's face was calm as she spoke. We warned you. We've been preparing for this scenario for generations. The alien fleet scattered in disarray as more defense platforms revealed themselves. What had seemed like ordinary asteroids in the belt suddenly opened like metal flowers, revealing massive weapon arrays. Captain Jun rushed to Commander Dole's side with the damage reports. Sir, we've lost 30% of our attack force in just minutes. Dole stared at the screen, his gray skin paling further. How? How could they hide this level of technology from our scouts? The answer came in the form of another devastating barrage. A hidden defense network around Mars activated, catching the alien fleet in a crossfire. In the command center, Colonel Sung stood with perfect posture as she watched the battle unfold. Next to her, Lieutenant Ho managed the defense grid communications. The Jupiter outpost is ready, Ho reported. Sung nodded. Activated. Far out in the solar system, what the aliens had dismissed as a small research station on Europa suddenly revealed its true purpose. The ice moon's surface split open, and massive energy cannons rose from beneath. On the command ship, alarms blared continuously. Captain Jun tried to organize a defense. Pull back to Sector 4. Regroup. But the aliens found no safe haven. Earth had prepared this welcome for decades. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Engineer Jen monitored the planetary shield generators. Energy level stable. Shield integrity at 96%. The shield, invisible until now, had activated moments before the alien weapons struck Earth's atmosphere. Their energy weapons harmlessly dissipated against the barrier. Commander Dole tried to rally his forces. Target their moon base. All remaining ships, concentrate fire. The alien fleet turned their weapons toward the lunar installations, hoping to eliminate at least one part of Earth's defense network. Colonel Sung smiled slightly. They're taking the bait. As the alien vessels concentrated their attack on the moon, new signatures appeared behind them. Hidden in Earth's shadow, a fleet of human battleships activated their engines. These weren't the primitive spacecraft the aliens had expected. These vessels bore sleek, advanced designs, the product of decades of secret development. Admiral Tay's voice came through on the command channel. Strike Fleet Talon moving to engage. Operation Steel Rain commencing. The human ships moved with impossible speed, their advanced drives leaving trails of blue energy as they closed on the alien fleet's exposed flank. On his command ship, Dole watched in horror as the human vessels opened fire. Their weapons weren't the crude missiles or lasers expected from an emerging species. These were gravity lances, phase disruptors, and quantum torpedoes, technologies that should have been centuries beyond human reach. "Retreat," Dole ordered. "All ships, emergency withdrawal." But the order came too late. The human fleet had already closed the escape routes. In the Lunar Command Center, General Park watched the battle through holographic displays. "They never stood a chance," he said quietly. Colonel Sung nodded. "That was the point. We needed them to understand quickly." On Earth, in her underground shelter, little Minna felt the ground shake slightly. An older boy looked scared, but Minna wasn't worried. "My dad works on the big ships," she told him proudly. "He said the aliens would run away when they saw what we can really do." Commander Dole stared at the viewscreen as his fleet burned. "How?" he asked again. "How did they hide this from us?" Colonel Sung's transmission returned. "We've been watching your kind for centuries," she explained calmly. "Learning. Preparing. We knew you would come eventually." The truth dawned on Dole with terrible clarity. Earth hadn't just prepared defenses. They had studied the aliens themselves. They knew their tactics, their technology, their weaknesses. "We gave you a chance," Colonel Sung continued. "One warning. That was more than you deserved." The invaders regrouped, still confident in their superior numbers despite their initial losses. Dole ordered a full-scale attack, hoping to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer force. But the humans didn't fight as expected. Small, agile Earth vessels didn't engage in traditional combat, but instead deployed clouds of nanobots that infiltrated alien ship systems. "Sir, we're losing control of our weapons," Captain Jun reported in panic. "Something is overriding our systems." Across the invasion fleet, alien ships began firing on each other, their targeting systems compromised by human eye. Meanwhile, stealth shuttles carried Earth's special forces directly onto enemy vessels. Led by Commander Du, these elite soldiers moved through alien corridors with practiced efficiency. "The humans, they've been to our ships before," a dying alien officer realized. "They know our layouts perfectly." Dole watched in horror as his invasion force descended into chaos. How can primitives fight like this? Where did they learn such tactics? The answer came when human forces revealed their Mars base, which launched a devastating counterattack from behind enemy lines. "They colonized the system," Jun whispered. "All this time." The red planet, which had seemed barren and lifeless in their scans, suddenly revealed its secret. Massive hangar doors opened on the Martian surface, and a swarm of fighter craft emerged from underground bases. Commander Du led his team through the alien flagship's ventilation system. His soldiers moved silently, their armor designed to block alien sensor technology. "Central control is 30 meters ahead," his second-in-command, Lieutenant Sun, reported quietly. Du nodded. "Remember, we need their command codes intact." On the bridge, Commander Dole was trying desperately to regain control of his fleet. "Get those systems back online. Override the human intrusion." The alien technicians worked frantically, but the human eye had buried itself too deeply in their systems. Each time they cleared one section, the infection spread to another. "Sir," a technician called out, "something is in the ventilation system." Before Dole could respond, small devices dropped from the ceiling vents. They released a pale blue gas that filled the bridge within seconds. Captain Jun reached for his weapon, but his limbs suddenly felt heavy. One by one, the bridge crew collapsed, unconscious but alive. Commander Du dropped from the ceiling, his team following close behind. Their masks protected them from the gas as they secured the unconscious aliens. "Bridge secured," Du reported over his comm. "Moving to Phase 2. Across the fleet, similar teams infiltrated other key vessels. The humans hadn't come to destroy the aliens. They had come to capture their ships. In Earth's command center, Admiral Tai received Du's report with satisfaction. Begin transmission of the control codes. Colonel Sung nodded to her communications officer. Send the package. The data package, containing artificial intelligence systems designed specifically to control alien technology, was transmitted to Commander Du's team. Within minutes, they had connected it to the flagship's main computer. On Mars, General Jin watched as his fighters engaged the alien fleet from behind. The Red Planet had been humanity's first colony, established in secret decades ago. Now it served as the perfect ambush point. The enemy is in disarray, Jin reported to Earth Command. Their formations are breaking. The Martian fighters were smaller than the alien vessels, but incredibly fast. They darted between the larger ships, firing precision strikes at engines and weapon systems before disappearing again. In the underground shelter, Minna sat with other children as a teacher tried to distract them with stories. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. What was that? One boy asked, fear in his voice. The teacher smiled calmly. That's just our friends on Mars saying hello. What the children didn't know was that Mars had just fired its main planetary defense cannon, a massive electromagnetic weapon that sent a pulse through the heart of the alien fleet, disabling dozens of ships instantly. On his flagship, now under human control, Commander Dole woke up strapped to a chair in his own quarters. Commander Du sat across from him. How? Dole asked, his voice weak from the sedative. How did you know our ship so well? Du smiled slightly. We've been visiting your worlds for over a century. Your people just never noticed. The truth hit Dole like a physical blow. Humans hadn't just been studying alien technology. They had been actively infiltrating alien civilization. You're not primitive at all, he whispered. No, Du agreed. We just let you think we were. As they spoke, the captured flagship transmitted false orders to the remaining alien vessels, drawing them into a trap near Jupiter's moons. Captain Jun, also captured but held separately, stared out a viewport as the human fighters swarmed around the alien fleet. Their tactics were unlike anything in the Coalition's military doctrine. Unpredictable, adaptive, constantly changing. The reports were wrong, he murmured. Humans don't fight like any species we've encountered. His guard, a young soldier named Lee, nodded. That's because we learned from all of them. Your coalition, the Bial Empire, the Nara Collective, we've studied how everyone fights. June turned to him in shock. You know about the others. Lee smiled. We've been preparing for this day for generations. Your invasion fleet isn't the first to approach Earth, just the first we decided to let come this close. As Dole frantically called for reinforcements, new ships appeared at the edge of the system, but they weren't the expected coalition forces. 3 distinct alien fleets moved into position alongside human defenders. Commander, Jun reported, voice shaking, those are Bial, Nara, and Hannibal vessels. They're helping the humans. A transmission cut through the chaos. An alien ambassador named Gil appeared alongside a human diplomat. The people of Earth have been our allies for decades, Jill explained. They earned our respect through fair trade and shared knowledge. Your coalition was deceived into this invasion by enemies who sought to weaken you. Dole's hands trembled as he realized the trap they'd walked into. In the asteroid belt, a decisive battle unfolded. Human ships and their allies coordinated with terrifying precision, cutting through what remained of the invasion force. On his command ship, Dole faced the ultimate humiliation as his officers turned against him. You led us to slaughter, Captain Jun declared, backed by other commanders. This ends now. The new alien ships were unlike anything in Dole's coalition. The Bial vessels glowed with strange blue energy, their organic-looking hulls pulsing like living creatures. The Nara ships were perfect geometric shapes, black cubes that absorbed light. The Hanul fleet consisted of ring-shaped vessels that moved with impossible grace. How? Dole whispered as he watched them take formation alongside Earth's defenders. These species have been enemies for centuries. On the main screen, Ambassador Gill stood beside a human woman. Her name appeared at the bottom of the transmission. Ambassador Yu, Earth Diplomatic Corps. Commander Dole, Ambassador Yu spoke calmly. Your coalition was fed false information. You were told Earth was defenseless, primitive, and resource-rich. You were told we would be an easy conquest. Gill nodded, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. What you weren't told was that Earth has been a neutral meeting ground for galactic diplomacy for over 60 years. The humans impressed us with their adaptability and fairness. Dole's second officer, Lieutenant Munn, stepped forward. Sir, incoming transmission from Coalition Command. They're denying they authorized this invasion. The blood drained from Dole's face. What? In Earth's command center, Admiral Ta watched the exchanges with satisfaction. Show them the evidence, he ordered. Ambassador Yu nodded to someone off-screen. Commander Dole, we've been monitoring your communications. We have proof that your invasion was orchestrated by the Cath Dominion, who wanted to eliminate your fleet without directly engaging you. The evidence appeared on screens throughout Dole's ship. Intercepted communications, forged orders, manipulated intelligence reports. His fleet had been sent on a suicide mission by their own allies. Captain Jum studied the evidence, his anger growing. We've lost thousands of soldiers for nothing. In the asteroid belt, the battle continued to rage. The human ships fought alongside their alien allies with perfect coordination, as if they had trained together for years. Because they had. On the Bayul command ship, Admiral One directed his fleet with precise movements of his 4 arms. Execute pattern theta, he ordered. Humans will take point. Earth vessels slipped between the larger Bayul ships, using the larger vessels as shields while they targeted the engines of the coalition ships. The Nara cubes projected disruption fields that disabled enemy weapons, while the Hanuel rings created artificial gravity wells that trapped enemy vessels. It was a slaughter. Inside the asteroid belt, hidden bases revealed themselves. What had seemed like ordinary mining operations were actually forward military posts, jointly operated by humans and their allies. 8-year-old Mina, still in her shelter, listened as the teachers explained what was happening. The nice aliens are helping us fight the bad aliens, one teacher said simply. Mina nodded. My dad said we have alien friends. He showed me pictures. The teachers exchanged surprised glances. It seemed some families had known more than others about Earth's true position in the galaxy. On Dole's command ship, the situation deteriorated rapidly. His officers had seen the evidence, and fury spread through the ranks. We were betrayed, Jun said, his voice hard. By our own leaders. Dole tried to maintain control. We must continue the fight. We can still. Still what? Interrupted Lieutenant Munn. Die for nothing. Look outside. Commander. The view screens showed the remains of their once proud fleet. Disabled ships drifted through space. Others burned from within, their crews evacuating in lifeboats. Our duty is to our soldiers now, Jun said firmly. To get the survivors home safely. Other officers nodded in agreement. Dole looked around, seeing the determination in their eyes. He was losing control. This is mutiny, he snarled. This is survival, Jun corrected him. You led us into this trap. You didn't question our orders. The deaths of our comrades are on your hands. Dole reached for his sidearm, but Munn was faster. The stun blast hit him squarely in the chest, and Dole collapsed to the deck. Jun took a deep breath and activated the ship-wide communication system. Attention all personnel. Commander Dole has been relieved of duty. I am assuming command. All ships are ordered to stand down and prepare for surrender negotiations. As the coalition weapons went silent, Ambassador Yu's voice came through again. Captain Jun, we're ready to discuss terms when you are. The battle was over. Earth and its allies had won. The remaining invasion ships powered down their weapons as Captain Jun broadcast their surrender. To the aliens' surprise, the humans didn't demand their complete destruction. Admiral Ta, representing Earth's United Defense Forces, presented terms. You will return to your coalition. You will pay reparations for the damage caused. And you will acknowledge Earth's sovereignty in this star system. The defeated aliens were brought to Earth for the formal surrender ceremony. There, they learned the most shocking truth of all. We could have destroyed your entire fleet in the first hour, President Kim explained calmly. Our weapons were capable of that. We chose restraint. Captain Jun, now leading what remained of the invasion force, signed the peace accord with a trembling hand. Why? He asked. Why show mercy? Admiral Ta smiled slightly. Because unlike you, we understand the value of potential allies. Even former enemies can become friends, given time. The defeated fleet departed Earth with a new understanding of humanity, not as primitives, but as a species whose ingenuity and strategic thinking made them a major galactic power. As they left the solar system, a final transmission followed them. Next time, President Kim's voice echoed through their ships. When someone gives you a warning, take it seriously. The formal surrender ceremony took place in an unexpected location. Not in a military base or government building, but in an open field under the blue sky. Flowers swayed in the gentle breeze as the alien officers were escorted from their shuttles. Captain Jun expected chains and armed guards. Instead, children presented each alien with a small plant in a pot. A peace offering, explained Ambassador Yu, a living reminder of this day. Jun held the delicate plant awkwardly in his three-fingered hand. I don't understand your species at all. President Kim stood on a simple wooden platform. Around him were representatives from the Biol, Nara, and Haniel species. The sight of these traditionally rival aliens standing peacefully together was perhaps more shocking to the coalition officers than their defeat. Today marks not an ending, but a beginning, President Kim announced. The beginning of understanding between our peoples. Jun and his fellow officers were confused by the lack of humiliation or punishment. In coalition culture, defeated enemies were paraded through streets, forced to kneel, sometimes executed as examples. The humans did none of this. Instead, they showed the coalition officers their defense systems, revealing technology far beyond what had been used in the battle. This is our planetary shield matrix, Admiral Ta explained as they toured a facility deep underground. It could have vaporized your entire fleet with a single pulse. Then why didn't you use it? Asked Lieutenant Mun. Because we wanted prisoners, not corpses, Colonel Sung replied simply. Dead enemies teach you nothing. Living ones can become valuable allies. In a large conference room, the coalition officers were shown recordings of Earth ships visiting their homeworlds decades ago. Humans in disguise, walking among them, learning their languages and customs. We've been studying your civilization for generations, explained General Park. Not to destroy it, but to understand it. Later, in a garden where the surrender documents were prepared, Commander Dole, now in restraints after his attempted mutiny, glared at President Kim. You made fools of us, he snarled. President Kim regarded him calmly. No, Commander. Your own arrogance did that. We merely revealed it. 8-year-old Mina was chosen as one of the children to present the peace plants. She approached a tall alien officer and held up her pot with a brave smile. My daddy says you're not bad, just confused, she told him innocently. The alien, Lieutenant Mun, took the plant carefully. Something in the child's simple words struck him deeply. After the ceremony, as the aliens prepared to depart, they were given one final surprise. Each of them received a data crystal containing information about their coalition's true enemies, the ones who had manipulated them into attacking Earth. Use this wisely, Admiral Ta told Captain Jun. Your real fight awaits you at home. As the coalition ships prepared to depart, Ambassador Gil of the Biol approached Jun. The humans could have kept this information to themselves. They could have let your civilization fall into the trap that was set for you. Why didn't they? Jun asked. Because that is not their way, Gil replied. In 60 years of knowing them, I've learned this. Humans prefer to make allies, not enemies. The defeated fleet, much smaller now, assembled at the edge of the solar system. Earth vessels escorted them to the jump point, not as guards but as protection, ensuring no one attacked the weakened ships. As they prepared to activate their faster-than-light drives, a final transmission reached them from Earth. President Kim's voice was clear and strong. Next time someone gives you a warning, take it seriously. The coalition ships disappeared into the darkness of space, carrying with them a new understanding of humanity, not as primitives to be conquered, but as a power to be respected, and perhaps someday as allies to be valued. On Earth, Minna's father returned from his duties on one of the defense platforms. He swept his daughter into his arms. "Did you give your plant to the alien like I told you?" he asked. Minna nodded proudly. "I did. And he looked sad, Daddy. I think he was sorry." Her father smiled and looked up at the stars becoming visible in the evening sky. "Good," he said softly. "That's how peace begins. The end."